Sometimes I like to imagine what it would be like to have a film score playing in the background of my major life events. So if this sounds a little crazy, think about it. We pretty much already do. It's the nursery rhyme your mom sang to you before bed, your graduating class song, and the song playing during your father-daughter dance at your wedding. Each song is like a mini film score, adding a little more emotion and meaning in those moments. But when we hear those songs again, it's a different time in our lives. So we can be thrown back into that particular moment, flooded with those same emotions and feelings, kind of like a flashback. After reading the gospel, I had one of these film score flashback events. The song Feel Again by OneRepublic popped right into my mind. It's uncanny how the lyrics of the song fit perfectly as a film score for this encounter of the resurrected Jesus. Now, to understand why this song fits, let's start at the beginning of the journey, where the two disciples of Jesus are on their way to the village, Emmaus. They appear to be downtrodden, over which we learn is the crucifixion of Jesus. These disciples were most likely Jewish, which means that their hopes of Jesus being the Messiah have fallen apart when he died on the cross. So, as they're walking, suddenly a man who they don't recognize joins them on their journey. So recreate the scene in your mind. Imagine how the disciples are feeling. Jesus, their friend, just died, whom they think they will never see again. Their hope of him being the Messiah has been nixed, and so what are they supposed to do now? And now imagine the song Feel Again play as the film score in the moment. The lyrics are, "It's been a long time coming since I've seen your face. I've been everywhere and back, trying to replace everything that I had, till my feet went numb, praying like a fool that's been on the run." And the scene continues. The travelers talk with the stranger about the miracles Jesus performed. They talk about their hope of him being the Messiah, and yet they seem reluctant. The stranger then begins to sort of chastise them about not listening to the prophets from before and believing those words that came before Jesus. And so now the film score continues. Heart's still beating, but it's not working. It's like $1 million phone that just can't ring. I reached out trying to love, but I feel nothing. My heart is numb. We are in a new scene. The travelers have made it to the village, and they invite the stranger to eat with them. And as they sit there, the stranger takes bread, blesses it, and breaks it. Here, in this moment, those travelers realize who they had been walking with the entire time. Their eyes were open, and they recognize him. It's like one of those flashback moments that I talked about earlier. And now the film score continues and breaks into the chorus. But with you, I feel again. I was a lonely soul, but that's the old me. The travelers feel again. Through their witnessing of Jesus breaking the bread, they remember his teachings, and they are changed. They are changed from skeptical travelers into energetic disciples, ecstatic to spread the word. So of course, they immediately run off to the next village and tell everybody the good news. But unlike those travelers, this is where I sometimes come up short. Our eyes are open. We know the teachings of Jesus, but I always don't take action. When life gets busy, complicated, and I feel like I'm at the end of my rope, it's more difficult to practice what Jesus preached? Is there a moment, just like those travelers had, that can remind me that I'm supposed to serve and love others even when I'm at my lowest? And there is. It's that same moment when the travelers' eyes were opened, in the breaking of the bread. When we come together for worship, we represent this very moment. During the Eucharist, at the altar, in the breaking of the bread. If it's just for that moment, we are connected back to those early Christians. Just like them, our eyes can be opened and we can be rejuvenated with this very thought of Jesus' teachings. Like the travelers, we are changed because we know the resurrection of Jesus, and we are reminded to go out and follow his commandments, to love and serve others. And it doesn't matter how we feel called to do it, as long as we do it. Because ultimately, when we do that, when we serve others, we reflect the love of God. So it's the end of the gospel reading, as well as the end of the film score. I imagine the disciples excited, running to tell the other ones the good news. And in the background, the end of the song plays. But before I say the final lines, this film score doesn't only pertain to those disciples, it can pertain to us. Perhaps it can throw us back, remind us that we are not who we once were, and that we feel again. So as the credits begin to scroll up, the song goes, I'm feeling better ever since you've known me, a little wiser now from what you've shown me. I feel again. I was a lonely soul, but that's the old me.